AITA for reporting my nephew to the police after he stole and damaged my car? I'm 22 male and I'm the product of an affair. My dad is about 25 years older than my mom, so all three of my siblings from him are 17 plus years older than me. I didn't have a relationship with that side of the family for majority of my childhood, but my dad and grandparents often sent money, holiday cards, birthday gifts, etc. I'm a lot closer to them now and had good relationships with all of my siblings, nieces and nephews until this happened. I own a 1976 Corvette Stingray that was gifted to me by my maternal grandpa when I turned 17. I've built this car up from a roller and it's my most prized possession. I went out of town for 2 weeks for work and left my car in my paternal grandparents' garage. I don't like keeping it at my place when I'm away for long because I don't live in the best area. I've done this since my freshman year of college and there has never been any issue until now. When I got back in town, I immediately went to my grandparents' house to pick up my car and there was a big dent and a lot of paint missing off the side of my car. It looked like someone side-swiped my car. I asked them what happened and they were confused. When I showed them, they were as shocked as I was. They told me that my nephew, Kevin, 25M, had been messing around in the garage the previous weekend, but they didn't see him take the car at all. We checked their camera system and sure enough, he had taken my car. I tried to call Kevin but my number was blocked, so I called my brother and told him what Kevin did to my car. He said he'll ask him about it and recommended a body shop for the estimate and repair. When I got the estimate back, there was $3,700 in damages. I told my brother the estimate and he said that the estimate was ridiculous and that the damages weren't that bad. I told him either he or Kevin had to pay for it to get fixed or I'd be contacting the police. I gave him 3 days and he didn't pay me, so I filed a police report and gave them the videos of him taking my car. Kevin was arrested at work and my brother was pissed. He called me going off about how I ruined Kevin's life over a car and said some threats. My sisters and dad have been calling and texting me asking me to just put the family first and drop the charges, but I don't want to. AITA? And we are talking about a full-on grown-up. Not a 15-year-old thinking it will be cool and okay to sneak the car out and show off to his friends, not thinking about what could happen. A 25-year-old is way past dumb teen thoughts, and knows very well what would happen if he took the car and especially when he damaged it. And instead of coming clean, he indeed blocked the number and hoped op would give up. The family don't get to play surprised Pikachu here that the police got involved. He's a full-on thinking and working adult. He could have offered to pay it off, anything. But nope. They ignored op for 3 days. Fuck around and find out when the police knocks is more than deserved. And let's add, a damage that big? Did he do a hit and run? Damage to public property? AITA for defending my mom to my wife and allowing her to ruin my son's christening? My mom and my wife have never had a great relationship. My mom has some issues and my wife has zero patience. I'm not even talking about typical controlling mill stuff, but more like personal issues. My mom is extremely weird about certain things such as eating, touching people, things, having control over what she wears, her body. She isn't great with social norms and to be honest, people do coddle her. My grandparents are just burned out from raising her and don't even care at this point, and her husband is just happy as long as she is eating enough and doesn't care how bizarrely she behaves. I don't believe in coddling her, but also feel my wife is controlling sometimes. I believe in giving my mom 2 choices, with one being she can leave or opt out. For example, if she wouldn't wear the color my wife picked for our wedding, she could just not be in pictures. If she is being rude and refusing to eat, she can leave the room. However, I don't see the point in fighting with her. You are never going to win. We recently had a christening for our son and my mom showed up in a strapless dress, which is not allowed in my wife's family's church. My mom has never been to a church in her life and didn't think that was still a rule. To be clear, this wasn't some clubbing dress and would have been fine if her shoulders were covered at all. My wife told her she can't go in like that and offered her MIL sweater. My mom refused as it didn't match her dress and she didn't like it. She looked around for something else to wear and then offered to go home and join us for the party later. I thought that was fine, but my wife got mad and said she was being selfish and acting like an idiot and demanded she put it on. My mom said no and started whining. My wife accused her of not loving her son, grandson, and it became a power struggle. People, not my mom, started yelling at my wife. It was awful. I told my wife to leave her alone and said my mom could put it on or leave, but leaving is a perfectly valid option. My wife just gave me a death stare. My mom said she would leave and thanked me for being reasonable, which I see was a dig on her part. Eventually my dad gave her a suit jacket and I thought everything was fine, but my wife was furious after the fact and said I sided with my mom and let her ruin our son's christening. She said I'm a coward and should have demanded she put that sweater on, and it is ridiculous that she cared more about the sweater than her family. She said I undermined and embarrassed her in front of everyone, and my mom deserved to be yelled at. Your mom is an adult, not a child who is still learning how to behave in social situations. She needs to accept that there are social norms in place and shouldn't expect to be catered to. Sometimes adults have to do things that make them uncomfortable. Nobody likes wearing church clothes or the prescribed outfit deemed by the bride at a wedding, but it's what you do. Every adult, barring those with medical reasons, can suck it up for a freaking hour in support of their loved ones. Adults don't whine, children do. If she is whining, she is acting like a child and needs to grow TF up. You are tough for being a flying monkey. Stop enabling your mom's admittedly shitty behavior. Your wife takes priority over your mom, and even if you don't agree with her, actively choosing your mom's batshit crazy over her, time and time again, it sounds like, is hurtful. Do I agree your mom should have been given the option to put on the sweater or go home? Yes. Does your wife get to be pissed that she chose going home over the sweater? Abso-freaking-lutely. It seems to me that you've missed the point of your wife's frustration. She's not saying your mom shouldn't have the option to go home. She's pissed your mom won't suck up a basic dress code rule for an hour to be present for her grandchild's christening. She views your mom's actions as a choice, which it 100% is, versus something she can't do. She can behave in public, but she won't. And that makes your mom the most asshole of the group. ETA for the, but she sounds autistic, she can't help it. Stop. I am on the spectrum, diagnosed in my 30s, with zero childhood support. I have put in the work, purely driven by social ostracism, to learn social norms. She can, too. Autism doesn't change the choice this woman is making to make scenes in public. In any case, I am not convinced she is diagnosable as anything relevant, and I think it's impossible to armchair diagnose her from a single, second-hand, likely biased account. Narcissists are diagnosable, too, but nobody tries to explain their behavior away.